Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. I hope you had a great weekend. We are 10 days away from Christmas, 10 days. So that means this week is the last week to make those pre-Christmas sales, get those orders out. I'd guess by Thursday or Friday, it's going to really start to drastically shrink in sales just because we start to hit that window where things won't arrive before Christmas. So make sure you're doing the things you need to do this week to make those last minute sales, whatever those are. We're streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, as we always do on Monday morning. So thank you for jumping in here and watching. Hope you all have some great Christmas plans. I know we're still 10 days away, still got a lot of time, but it goes by fast. I've got 25 orders to ship out this morning. 25 orders between Friday and Sunday. I haven't made a sale today yet. So one spreadsheet sale, and that's it. How was the weekend for you? Did you do anything fun? Any holiday, Christmassy things, Christmas parties, anything like that? Curious to know. Two platforms made sales this weekend, Poshmark and eBay. Those are the usual suspects. Mercari and Depop are always kind of the I guess, for lack of better words, just sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. 19 to 20 orders on eBay, the rest on Poshmark. Quick update. In case you're new to me, my name is Jason. I'm a full-time reseller. I sell on 4 different platforms. I create content to share with you my reseller journey. So I'm sharing content like this through lives, through reels and videos and posts. So you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Of course, if you're watching on one of those, you can always jump across to the other one and follow there, based on whichever one is your preference. Posting daily content, going live weekly. And I also have a spreadsheet that I sell for resellers to help you track your business so that you can get a place where you can see real time how you are. You can start off January 1st, ready to go, get the spreadsheet, have it ready so that when you start making sales, you can just track it as you go rather than waiting till the end of the year. As you know, we're at the end of the year. Tax season is upon us. You don't want to throw everything towards the end and get overwhelmed with taxes. Get ahead for 2026 and start it right by getting my spreadsheet. It's linked in the description wherever you're watching. Quick update. Last Thursday, we had a live reseller tax talk with Carol Ann and Dan Olson down in Florida. They are full-time tax pros. They have their own business, and Carol Ann also trains Intuit employees. If you think of Intuit as like the online tax service, she trains their employees, new employees. So if you missed that discussion, you weren't able to join us live, you can find that on YouTube. It's about an hour, a little over an hour long, and it's a great discussion to help you get prepared for tax season. So make sure that if you didn't see it and you're interested, that you go click it. It's really informative, and you'll also, if you don't know Carol Ann, you'll meet her and be able to see just who she is, and she's great. So if you're looking for just some information, you can find it there. If you're looking for someone to do your taxes, possibly you can see Carol Ann and excuse me, possibly get connected with her as well. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started right now. Shipping out orders 28 between Friday and Monday, or sorry, 28 between Friday and Sunday. I shipped out 3 or 4 on Friday morning as they came in. So I believe I have like 25 left. So we're going to start off with Poshmark as we always do. Got 8 orders there to ship out. This was a really good weekend for me. Not just 28 orders, close to 30, but some really good sales in there. So I had a string of really good days. It's been a while since I've had 4 consecutive days like I did this past week. Starting off, number 1, these Roundtree and York brand new dress pants. Now you may see these in the store, in the thrift store, and think, am I really going to pick up? I'm going to pass on those Roundtree and Yorks. If they're brand new with tags, I'm picking them up. I'm getting picking them up for $5 to $6. Sold these for $31 within a month and a half of listing these dress pants. Back in the day, I used to just leave these behind. Now that's not the case. I am picking up these Roundtree and York, especially if they're The khakis won't go for as much, but if they're like these really nice dress pants and you can see they kind of have like a plaid checkered pattern, they do really well. So $31 on Poshmark, $6.20 are my fees. So that gives me just under $20 in profit. We're looking at like a $19.80 profit margin for a $5 to $6 purchase. So if you're not considering Roundtree in York, again, they must be new for me to pick them up. Then I would suggest that you do. It's not a sexy flip, but it's what pays the bills. We're going to Houston, Texas. With some of these department store brands, I mean, if someone walks in and picks up those pants, they're going to pay $50, $60 for those pants brand new. So if they can get them on Poshmark for $31, obviously they're getting a deal. I'm getting some profit. It's a win for all. All right. Sorry, I accidentally clicked to update my software on my other phone here. So now it's like it's going through all this setup, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to have access to there we go. Access to notifications in case something sells or I get offers, etc. Let's see here. So no sales today this morning. I did make one spreadsheet sale, but as far as reseller related, nothing there. Okay, next up, these were a mistake. I picked up 3 of these, and this is the last one to go. I think I paid $14 a piece a couple of years ago at like a TJ Maxx. These are Under Armour brand new golf pants. And I think the problem with these, they retail for $85, and I sold them for $22 on Poshmark. Took an offer just to get them out. I think the problem with these was the size. They were all 30 by 34. So that's a very slim waist and it's got to be a tall, very lean person. So again, didn't make much money on these, but they are out. I haven't had a lot of interest on these brand new Under Armours. I thought that would be the case. Thought I'd be selling them for $40. I don't remember what the first 2 sets went for, but 22 on these, that only gives me like $3 profit. If you're just popping in, let me know. How was your weekend? Did you notice a holiday Christmas sales bump? Was it kind of a ho-hum weekend? How was it for you? If you're new to me, again, full-time reseller, and I'm basically sharing whatever I can with you. So if I'm learning something, I'm passing it along. That's how I use these lives. So I'm telling you not just brands, but the reason why I pick up what I pick up to sell, or the reason why I make mistakes, just like that last one. Next up, fast flip on this, listed on the 8th of December. These sold on the 13th. So less than a week to get $30 on this pair of used pants. The brand may surprise you. The brand is Uniqlo. Uniqlo picked up a couple pairs of pants this same day. These were, I think, were they a linen blend? These were a linen blend pant. You can see like an army green, and they went for a best offer of $30. So Uniqlo isn't a brand I pick up quite that much. I don't see it that often, but I have done fairly well with those. With that brand, I should say. And I'll say, probably a couple of years ago, I picked up 3 or 4 puffer jackets from the same brand, and those did well. $40, $50 jackets. Linen blend is something, linen blend or just 100% linen, especially with pants. It's something that I will consider across a lot of brands that I wouldn't typically pick up, like Banana Republic, Eddie Bauer, brands that I've kind of steered clear of. When it comes to linen, it's back in the game with those types of items. All right, this was a $5 pickup at JCPenney's. JCPenney's does a sale every year where they clear out their old season items. $5 on this J Farrar, brand new with tags. There you go, J Farrar. This really cool like holiday plaid pattern. It was even a smaller blazer. I think it was like a size 38. Let's see the size in there. Picked up a few of these. Last one to go. This sold on a best offer of $40. Retails for $160. I don't know how much JCPenney's sells it for in their store, but I got $40 for it. So knowing that I was picking it up for $5, that's an easy decision for me. I'll do $5 into $40 all day. Very happy with that flip. That's 8 times my money. And I'm glad this is gone because, again, this is more of a holiday seasonal pattern and color. It's not something that I want to be sitting on come January. This red-green plaid. So it is out. So $40 flip, $8 fees on Poshmark, paid $5. That puts me at a $27 profit on this item. So 5 into 27 is over 500% ROI just on that one item. The address is Bacon Road. That's hilarious. Lauren on Bacon Road. Thank you, Lauren, for your purchase. Hope that makes a great gift if it's a gift. All right. Here's another brand that may surprise you. If you were in at the beginning, you saw the Roundtree and York. And this is a brand that I'd put on the same level as Roundtree and York. And that is Hagar. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Hagar. These pants I pick up all the time, $5 to $7 or $8. Flip them for, I'd say, a minimum of the low 20s all the way up to mid 30s, depending on what they are. I got $23 for these on Poshmark. And I also pick up Hagar because this is one of the brands that I can sell their new pants in on. Their new pants I can sell on Amazon. So if they're listed there, if I scan them and they pull up on Amazon, I can list it. So not only am I getting it on eBay, Poshmark, my other sites, but I'm also getting on Amazon where I can sometimes, a lot of times, make a lot more money. Had these sold on Amazon, they would have been 35 to 40. Obviously higher fees there too, but definitely a reason that I will entertain brands that I typically don't. And again, if you're joining me for the first time on this live, it's got to be new with tags. I'm not picking up used Hagar pants. I'm not picking up used Roundtree and York. I'm picking up brand new. That tag is crucial. All right, my wife made a flip this morning or this weekend. Another brand that you may be surprised by, St. John's Bay. This is like a really interesting vintage denim shirt, and you can see like some button detail. It's not like your typical buttons. It's like a metal button. So it's a vintage denim shirt. At least it looks vintage. I don't know if it is or not, but sold for $25 on Poshmark on a best offer. So you hear St. John's Bay and you may be thinking, you get $25 for that? I mean, it's the denim, it's the metal buttons, obviously not having just like having regular buttons, you wouldn't have got as much, but having those different buttons. It's all in the details. Denim is in right now, especially vintage and denim. So it came out of her closet. It's going to its new home, Astoria, New York. And she listed that around like September. So 3-4 months and it's gone. And for her, it's all profit because there was no cost to it. Two more to ship out on Poshmark, and I think you'll be surprised by this last one. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for popping in. If you're just joining me, how was your weekend? NRC for Christ says, good morning from Cali. Yep, denim shirts go. They sure do. And again, it's one of those things where if I find it in a lot of brands, Eddie Bauer, LL Bean, Banana Republic, Levi's, Wrangler, denim is in. Get your denim listed. Next up was a brand new Untuck It on Poshmark, sold for $30, which is a good price on this. Typically, I'm getting $22 to $25. That's the beauty of Poshmark. Sometimes you get a little more. And I think they just paid full price. I believe $29.99 is what I've got on those. Of course, on Poshmark, that's going to round up to 30. They don't deal with like pennies or change. It's all whole numbers. Going to Lone Tree, Colorado. I'm no stranger to that. Used to live in Colorado, so not far away. Last item up, $40 on this sweater on Poshmark. Came in last night. Buyer accepted my offer. And this was, I'm trying to figure out if this was wool or not. No, this wasn't even wool, and it sold for a best offer of $40. So here's the brand, Orvis. Orvis is a great brand, 100% cotton. It's like a fisherman sweater. So that's Orvis fisherman sweater is the big first few keywords. Got this really cool like waffle knit, or kind of like a waffle cable knit. I wouldn't say cable. I'd just say more. I mean, maybe cable. I guess you could say that. But really cool navy blue sweater. Very heavy. $40 on Poshmark. Took about 3 months to sell. Taffeta and Twill, good morning to you. How are you? How was your weekend? It's hard to believe we are 10 days away from Christmas. We finally got our daughter's stuff ordered this weekend, and one of them is coming in today, gift-wise. So we've got a couple of her big gifts already ready to go. And this year, for the first time, we worked out a deal with all three of our parents. So my parents are divorced, and then my wife's parents, that we would just not buy gifts for one another. So it makes it really easy. They're not going to buy gifts for us. We're not going to buy gifts for them. We don't have to sit down and come up with a list to give to each family. It just takes the stress out of this holiday. Jason says, is Helly Hansen a decent brand for coats and jackets, in your opinion? Yes. Helly Hansen is a great brand. It's kind of a dated brand. It's not really, I mean, they're still making stuff, but I don't find that brand very often, but I almost always pick it up unless it's just like a t-shirt. It does really well. So I would say yes, buy Helly Hansen, and especially in outerwear like that. Wherever you're watching from, Facebook, YouTube, if you'd hit the like button, and of course, if you're not following me, hit subscribe or follow on Facebook, just so you can jump in and get notified when I go live every Monday, or on just random times too. NRC says, I sourced 6 excellent condition Volcom men's jeans at the thrift, $5 each. One sold the next day, listed. Yeah, I like that brand, especially in jeans. I don't find the jeans very often. I see a lot of their like shirts and flannels and button ups and stuff. What'd you get for the jeans, just out of curiosity? That's a good brand to find jeans for, especially for jeans. Okay, we are moving on to eBay, and of course, I forgot to open up all my tabs here. Okay, Mariah, I see now. Mariah's in on a different account on her business page. Good morning, Mariah. Taffeta and Twill. I like that name. It's kind of catchy. It rings and it flows too. As I'm looking over sales I made, I've got some in here that may surprise you. I've got a t-shirt that sold for 25, a brand that I was a first time finding for me, a first brand I'd never heard of. I've got a pair of pants in here that sold for almost 60 used, like outdoor pants. I think you'll be surprised to know that brand. It was a new one for me as well. And here's another pair of pants sold for almost 30, a new to me brand. I'm excited to share some of these with you here pretty soon. And then, of course, I made a sale on Friday that was an oops mistake sale. So I'm going to share that with you as well. It was an oops mistake sale. The notification came in and I was like, why did that sell? And I mean, I'm happy to make the sale, but I'll share that as well. Starting off with one of my favorite sales of the whole weekend. I knew when I found this item, it was a good one. I knew it was a good one. And honestly, I've been seeing other resellers pick up this brand. I've known about it for a while, and I have not been able to find it until recently. And it is going out. Look at this pattern. It's like a margarita pattern. I mean, the model is the margarita polo. Good morning, Josephine. Welcome in. This took 8 days to sell. You want to know this brand if you don't already, which many of you may know this brand, Roback, and it's got like the there's a look at the logo right there. It's like a dog. It looks like a Labrador on the front. Many of you already know that, but if you don't, it's one you want to know. 8 days to sell, and this went for $56.99 within a week of listing it. I looked at it and I was like, is this going to be a good pattern? I'm not like, the pattern doesn't scream to me. I mean, it does to someone else, but obviously these patterns are in style right now. The color, I guess, was more what I was thinking. $56.99. I listed it $59.99. I had it 5% off. Someone paid full price. Mariah says, Wolf and Shepherd men's shoes were my best sale this weekend, 124. That is on par. I love that brand. I've only found it maybe 3 times. That's a great brand, Wolf and Shepherd. As a shoe brand, it's like a kind of like a Cole Haan. So they've got like a lightweight knit shoe that's more like a comfort dress shoe. So Wolf and Shepherd is definitely a bolo you want to know. She says new brand for me to pick up. I'm pushing myself to scan tags I don't recognize to find new pickups. That's great. And obviously that one paid off. 124. I mean, you got me beat. I can't beat that one from the weekend. What are some other big flips from you all this weekend? That was a good one from Mariah. What about the rest of you? What did you find? What did you sell? NRC says $22.45 on the Volcom jeans. Most of them listed at around $25. So $56.99 on this. This was something I paid $6 for. Within a week, it's going for almost 10 times. I mean, come on. If that is not the nature and the purity of reselling, I love it. I love it. I love it. Like that's what we get into it for. I mean, the bread and butter items, they pay the bills, but when you find stuff like this, it's like you find this in the store and it's like you almost just want to do a little dance. It's exciting. I don't get excited about the Hagar pants, even though I pick them up. Stuff like this, I do get excited about. And it is going. Put a yes in the comments if you've ever found Roback before. I'm just curious how many of you know that brand. If you know it or have found it, either one. All right. Roback is a golf brand. It's somewhat new. Not hasn't been around that long. Okay, next up. Got a bunch of these untuckets that went out. Here's another one that went out for $22 on eBay. Talk about these a lot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. It has been a steady Eddie. Every week I'm shipping out, gosh, 10 to 15 of these. You can't see them, but those clothes are sitting on boxes of these untuckets. So once those go, I won't have anywhere to stack my clothes on. I'll have to buy something else. Mariah says, yes, Rowback is very popular. My one and only Rowback sale was a quarter zip I found for $5, held out for a buyer to pay $68. Solid color. That's a great one. Love that. From Chastity. Had lots of folks sending low offers, but glad I held out. Yeah, when you know what you have, you hold and until you get that buyer. Mike Davis says, I found a Stio flannel, $5, sold for $39.99 in 2 days. Stio is that's a great brand, Mike. Good eye on that. Good flip. That's one of those like rare outdoor brands, kind of an up and coming brand that not a lot of people know about. And so when you find something like that, it's not surprising to me that you can make a quick sale like you did in 2 days. NRC says, no, yes, knows Rowback, but hasn't found it yet. Well, sending you best of luck on finding a Rowback. All right, story time. I was listing on Friday, listed this Patagonia. Technically, the model is called the Better Sweater. It's a quarter zip. It's women's, great size and color. It's like a lavender purple. Listed it, just kept listing, and then I got notification it sold like instantly, like an hour. And I was like, whoa, that was fast. Then I looked down and it was $18.99. And I'm like, $18.99? I priced this at $39.99. So something happened. Either I thought I priced it and I didn't. It didn't go through. It didn't save, whatever. But it is out. I didn't make much on it, but it was the fastest flip of the weekend. So I was happy to sell it. But there were several comps on this for that $29 to $35, $37 range. So definitely left some money on the table, and that's okay. Mistakes happen. That's not very often that something like that happens. Going to Chula Vista, California. What are you planning on selling in January? Still winter clothes selling? What do I see happening in January? Still winter clothes selling after Christmas arbitrage, etc. Yeah. So for those of you that haven't been through a full cycle of retail, January is where it drops off. So a lot of people will say all the months that start with J are the slow months: January, June, and July. That's typically the case. Expect maybe a higher return rate. Think, you got people who are buying stuff as Christmas gifts, hopefully that it's going to work. If they're buying clothes, that they're going to fit. And there are going to be people who give it as a gift, but it doesn't fit, so they're going to want to return it. So you may have some, a surge of returns in that first week or two after Christmas. You will probably see, if you're selling clothing, you will probably see a little drop off in sales. People they spend all their money and time in December. So their bank account takes a hit, and then they kind of pull back just a little bit from purchasing. Typically, that's usually how it works. So you will see a drop off more than likely, but hang on. I will still, to answer your original question, I will still list and sell winter clothes. I would say up until like late February, mid to late February is kind of when that cutoff happens. People then, as we get close to March, start to turn their attention to warmer weather clothing. So you've got a couple months after December to sell your winter stuff. I'll still keep buying and listing and selling outerwear. Happy Monday, Tammy. Thanks for jumping in here. Good to see you. Chastity says, my good sale from this weekend was a Shannon Woolen Mills, Ireland, merino wool. I mean, all your keywords there. I'm just like, what did you get for it? Took an offer, paid $670, took an offer for $40. I was happy with that. That's amazing. Yeah, the I don't know that brand, Shannon Wool and Mills, but with the keywords that you're giving me, Irish wool and cardigan, those are all things that the brand isn't as important. Those are all things that sell the item. So again, I'm not familiar with Shannon Wool and Mills, whether that's a huge brand or not, but I have found a few items that are Irish wool, very similar to that, that are just brands I've never heard of that do really well. So great flip. Let's see here. So we need to ship this out. $7.92. So yeah, I probably made $7-8 on this sweater. Again, with a mistake price sale. I was hoping to get 30. I got 19. It happens. All right, next up. I love when I sell blazers that are in this closet because it makes room. I mean, it's typically blazers are slower moving for me, and I've slowed down on picking them up. So I've had a couple go out this weekend. It's always great for me because it makes room for other things. This is a Ralph Lauren Blue Label. It's like a suede, suede-ish jacket. Put in the title faux suede. Even had some flaws. So I got $25 for it. That's definitely less than typically what I would get. And I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but there's just some very light marks on here that I had to disclose, like right there. Again, I don't think you're going to be able to pick it up right in here. But just know there are a few places with like spots. I'm not sure what the stains are, but I had to disclose that and obviously priced it to move it. So took an offer of 25. If this was like a flawless jacket, I would have gotten 35 to 45, 50, somewhere in there in that range. Fortunately, the stains aren't too noticeable, so someone could wear this and maybe get away with it. But it's a beautiful jacket. It is a beautiful jacket. You may be popping in from, a lot of you weren't in here at the very, very beginning when I mentioned last Thursday was the live tax reseller discussion with Carol Ann and Dan Olson. So if you're interested in something like that, you know, we've got tax season coming up here in just a month or two. You're going to be getting your tax statements, looking over your taxes, getting everything ready. And if you don't have someone to do your numbers, take a look at that discussion. I've got the contact info for Carol Ann there. It was a great 1-hour discussion about deductions and write-offs that you can get for your business, but also maybe some things that would surprise you. There were definitely some things I learned that I didn't know. And this isn't the first time I've done a discussion with Carol Ann. So it was a great conversation, and you'll find that on YouTube if you're interested. All right, going to Pitkin, Louisiana. My neighbor down here, so shipping is pretty cheap. Of course, questions on this live are always encouraged, even just comments. You want to share what you're learning. If you have any questions on things you see, please feel free to put them in the chat. All right, got a linen, 100% linen untuck it shirt. This one sold for $33.22 on eBay. Of course, we're shipping out eBay sales, so you know that already. I take so many offers on these untuckets, so when a full price sale comes through, it's always exciting because I'm so used to just accepting offers. Going down to Miami, Florida, where you definitely need a lightweight layer that's breathable. We went to Miami probably 3 years ago to do a cruise, and we had a day on the front end and then a couple of days on the back end of that cruise. And definitely the hottest place I have ever been. So humid. I thought Arkansas was humid. Not at all compared to Miami, Florida. I would not want to live there, that's for sure. I'm not a hot weather guy. I'm a mountain guy. I'm a cold weather guy. I've got a beard and long hair, so you may have already guessed that. Next up, Lululemon Utilitech. Utilitech is kind of like their canvasy pants, so a little more durable, a little tougher material. These went for $36 on a best offer within 2 to 3 months of listing them, going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So with Lululemon, you have like their Utilitech pant, which is, again, they're more durable, but there's also another one that's kind of their really stretchy fabric, which is Warp Stream, and Warp Stream brings in more money. So if you find out that you have Warp Stream, you want to put that in the title. It's not very often that I pick up Lululemon because all my thrift stores here have those pants priced at $20 to $25. So most of the time it's not even worth it. It's, if I can sneak one in at $6 or $7, I'll do it. But most thrifts here are on to Lululemon. That's why you got to find some of these sneaky good brands that no one knows about. All right, my oldest flip of the weekend. Oldest flip. Thought this was going to be a winner back in the day. Turns out, it was okay, an okay flip, but it took 2 years to sell. It's a vintage Chaps Ralph Lauren like anorak jacket, red hood, blue body. I just thought like it's USA colors. It's a vintage jacket, the anorak style, Chaps Ralph Lauren, vintage. Like I thought all these things would add up to a faster sale. That wasn't the case. Took a best offer of $20 on this just to move it on this like lightweight windbreaker jacket. It's going to happen. You're going to have those items that typically would sell faster. Wouldn't call it a mistake. I still made money on it. But I don't want to hold items for 2 years. That's way too long. Oh, this was a international order, so we got to pull that up. Going to Tel Aviv. Just got to make sure of a few things before I ship this out. All right. So I charged $24 for this. Actually, I forget to do this, but I'm going to add insurance because I've gotten burned in the past couple of months, a couple of times. Not taking that chance again. So I'm going to add insurance for $1, and that will cover this shipment. So I increased my international rates by $1 just so I could add in that insurance. So $22.99 is the shipping label. So I'm still $1 over that. Not taking any chances again. I went so long without having any issues with international orders, and then I had two that got delayed and lost, or delayed, and eBay would not, took the money out of my account, even though they ended up delivering both of them. So I'm like, okay, so you refunded the buyer and they got their package. That doesn't make sense. Now, in their defense, it was late. It was later than normal, but I'm like, come on, it's an international order. And it's going to a country that's at war. Okay. I digress. Okay. $148 Polo Ralph Lauren joggers. And these sold best offer $50. Got them in March. Paid, I believe, $29 for these. I'm not making much. At this point, I'm just trying to get out of my inventory. I'm not really picking these up much anymore just because they aren't going for what they used to. It would have been an easy $60 to $75 before, and now I'm just having a hard time selling them for that. On an eBay label, so my order didn't sell through eBay's international program. It sold through my third-party pirate ship international order. So I go to pirate ship, and that's where I get the label. It's simple to do. But again, you can add insurance for $1, and it covers like up to $100 of your package, maybe more. I'm kind of just making that number up, but I believe it's up to $100 insurance for $1. Just double check that, because actually I'm interested to know that. Yeah, up to $100. So $1 for every $100. So if I had a $300 jacket, I could pay $3 to insure that $300 jacket. All righty. Biggest sale of the weekend. This came in on Friday, and man, I did a dance when this came in. This was a pair of Diesel Buster jeans. Diesel Buster tapered jeans, brand new with tags, sold for $109.22. I think I picked these up for $49 at TJ Maxx. So we're looking at like a $35, $40 profit on these. Not quite 100% return, but I don't really care. To make $40 profit on one item, I'm happy with that. And the great thing about these jeans is I actually picked up 3 pairs of those, and this is the last one to sell. So I didn't just make $40 once, I made it 3 times. Now, I will say, going back to that international order, and to answer your question more broadly, Jason, if you do sell it through eBay's international shipping program, they guarantee their orders. So once you ship it, you are guaranteed. If it gets lost, and I have had this happen through eBay's shipping, international shipping, it got lost and they did not take the money from me. They just refunded the buyer. So they add in some extra fees to kind of account for that. Obviously, they wouldn't do it if it was losing them money. So their shipping internationally is a little more expensive than what the one that I go through with Pirate Ship. But again, eBay guarantees it from the time you ship it and tracking is uploaded. They will guarantee any lost order that you won't have to be responsible for that. So that's the advantage if you do sell an item internationally through eBay's program. I just don't get many of those because mine's a lot cheaper to go through the way that I'm doing it. All right, we've got a vintage pair of camo pants. These are like a nylon windbreaker pant, camo pattern. The brand is 10X. I've never heard of that brand before. They were Gore-Tex, and they sold for $28.49. Paid $7 for these. With camo, if you're not familiar with selling camo, Jason, you're welcome. You'll typically find the camo pattern somewhere on the item. So pair of pants, you can see Realtree right here. Instead of just putting camo in a title, you always want to put what type of camo it is. Realtree, Advantage Timber, Highlands. There are a bunch of different types of camo that you can find. Realtree is the most common, at least around where I am, just because it's a heavily wooded forest area. There's a lot of hunting here. So more than anything, I see Realtree camo. But I guess if you're in a different part of the country, you might find a different type of camo pattern. I love camo, by the way. It never lasts long for me. I mean, of course, I have every once in a while I have items that are sitting, but for the most part, camo is a very fast-moving item if you price it right. All right, I mentioned a t-shirt that went for a best offer of $25. It's a brand that was new to me when I picked it up back in September. Never found this brand before. Let me know if you've heard of this. It's called John Varvatos. John Varvatos USA. Give you a close up there if you can see it on YouTube and of course on Facebook too. Can't mirror it, so it's backwards. I apologize. But I had this for like $29. Buyer made an offer for $21. I went on eBay, checked the sold comps. I checked what was available in this size, and I was like, okay, I was about to accept it. And then I thought, you know what? Based on what I have, I think I'd be leaving money on the table. So I countered at 25 and they took it. Mariah says, the camo I sold this past week went to South Africa. Okay, that's cool. Just never know. Was that through eBay's international, or do you do like pirate ship or something else? Going to Milford, Connecticut. And as I'm thinking about it, I didn't have one pair of shoes sell this past weekend. I typically have a pair at least that I'm shipping out, but not this weekend. Another Untuck It. This one went for $23, best offer, out the door. On all my Untuck It's, I'm charging $7.95 to ship them. This one's going to Harbor City, California. Let me guess, that's on the coast, based on the name. Mariah says, I'm in the eBay international program and the buyer upgraded to priority and I couldn't get a clear answer how to ship, so I shipped it on eBay with priority. Okay. Glad you made the sale. Four items left, including a pair of pants, used pants, mind you, that went for almost $60. I'm going to share that in just a second. It was one of my last sales last night. We had a flurry of Untuck It's all in a row, starting with that last one, and then this one came in. Untuck It sold for $33.22. This is like a performance fabric, so a nylon. It's got a great pattern on it. This is probably one of my favorite types that I have, and it sells for that $28 to $33 range. $33.22 on this one. Going to Bakersfield, California. Vanessa says, I don't sell many shoes and sold 2 pairs this weekend. Cool. Any of those you want to talk about, like the brand or what you got for them? Mariah says, as far as I can tell, eBay International is standard shipping. Do you know? Yeah, it's typically eBay International is standard shipping. So you're going to ship it to a US center, and then from there they're going to do the customs and all that for you and then ship it out themselves. So it's going to take like 2 to 3 weeks. So that first Untuck It made me $9 profit. Second one made me 19. So you can see an average of around $15 there. And then this third one, again, the same pattern. Typically, when one sells, if I have multiples in that same quantity of that same style, buyers will get a notification, hey, this is an active item, and then I'll get another sale. So this was back to back, same shirt, same size. This one went for best offer of 25. Going to McKinney, Texas. Vanessa says sold women's Cole Haans for 55. Wow, good price. And some Clark's women's boots on Poshmark for 35. Yeah, those Cole Haans, that's a really good sale. Okay, profit on that last one was $13.46. So you can kind of get an idea on those Untuckits. I'm averaging about a $12 to $15 profit margin on those. Okay, we've got 2 more items to ship out. This pair of pants right here sold for $56.99. A used pair of pants. This was a new brand for me. I had not heard of it. I could tell the fabric was like more of a performance, but a durable performance fabric. And so when I looked these up, I was pleasantly surprised to see comps were really good. I was thinking this was like a $30 pair of pants, and within 1 month, they sold for $56.99. The brand is Arborwear. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of that brand before. Of course, I'm not the end-all be-all on bolo guides or bolo brands, so you may have already heard of that. And I'm going to guess it's more of like a gardening brand, Arborwear. Actually, let's just look that up. It just says rugged outdoor clothing. Designed to withstand the toughest jobs in extreme conditions. So yeah, think like landscapers and people who work outdoors. That Arborwear is their brand. These pants obviously have some value to them. They're a tough material. I wish I could show you. The logo is on the inside, but also in the inside was a thing that said Cordura fabric, I think is what it is. Yeah, which Cordura is kind of like a durable fabric. All right, so the moral of this story is sometimes you will find brands, items that you may not know, but feel like quality. Always look those up because you may be surprised. I could have easily passed this by and just left it on the rack, and I'm glad I did not. These were like new. I mean, they had no signs of wear on them. Didn't look like they had been worn much. So I listed them as excellent, like new. And a month later, $56.99. Going to Blanchard, PA. Profit of around $39 on those. And my last item to ship out, my last order from last night. No sales yet today still. It's been a quiet morning. No sales, no offers. Here's an offer on Depop on a Lululemon top. I've got it on sale for 38. I'm going to counter. They offered 26. I'm going to counter at 30, and I have no hope whatsoever that they're going to accept and even pay for this item. So I'm going to counter anyways and just assume that nothing's going to happen with this. That's how I feel about Depop. If it sells at 30, I'll be shocked. All right, last item up. Do see your question, Josephine. Thank you for putting that in. I'll get to it in just a sec. Pair of Navy jeans. These are kind of have like a ribbed, almost like a corduroy, but not quite, kind of like a small ribbed pattern. These Navy jeans sold on eBay for $24 on a best offer. Had them at 28 and change. The buyer made an offer of 24. I love those types of offers because it's like, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to accept it. And let's see. Listed these 86 days. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Listed these 54 days ago. So not even 2 months, and they're gone for 24. Again, a $5.99, a $6.99 item into 24. Going to Alabama. So $15 to $16 profit on those. Josephine asks, have you tried shipping bulky items to Hawaii? If you did, what's the cheapest courier? Thank you. I'll be honest. I typically exclude Hawaii from items that are 3 pounds and up. So 2 pounds and under, I'll ship to Hawaii. After that, if it's heavier than that, I don't typically ship there. And I exclude Alaska too, for that same reason. I did ship something to Alaska and I got burned on the shipping. So I just went in and immediately excluded it after that because I'm like, not doing this again. So typically on a 2 pound item or less, it's not going to be that much different. But when you get up into those heavier items, you will notice that. So I can't answer that for you, but maybe someone else can put in the chat. If you've shipped out to Hawaii, how are you shipping it? Or what's a cheaper cost-effective way to do that? Vanessa says, quiet here too after a busy weekend. Yeah, we're kind of getting to that time. I mean, it's December 15th. You think someone orders something, if they're looking at Christmas gifts online, they can order it today, maybe even by Wednesday, Thursday, and still get it, assuming ground advantage. But once you hit like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're getting into, it may not arrive before Christmas. So I would assume sales will kind of stay steady through these first 3 days of the week, maybe even 4. And then after that, it's going to start to taper off. Most ground advantage items are going to take like a week to get there. So if they're trying to get it there before Christmas, unless they're paying for priority, you really need to order it by like Wednesday, Thursday. All right, that concludes all my orders from this weekend. Just swing around the platforms and see if anything came in. None so far. Nothing so far. Okay, that's how it goes. That's how it's going to end. All right. Well, I'm going to get busy. I got some stuff to do today, as always. Let's see. Next week will be the 22nd. So I'll be live next week. And then probably the Monday after that would be the 29th. Yeah. So I should be live both days. We'll have to see about that. 22nd, my daughter may be off from daycare. So if she's here, I may not be able to go live. And the following week as well, she's usually off for 2 weeks during Christmas. So it may be a while before you see me, unless I just do some random live on like this Friday or something. Okay, so assuming that I won't see you before Christmas, I hope you all have a great holiday and are able to spend time with your family. Enjoy the season. Look at this. I'm going to wrap up in under an hour. Amazing. Um, yeah. Enjoy the holiday. Have a good time. Eat well, and we'll catch you. If I don't see you before Christmas, we'll catch you at some point right after. So we'll see you guys. Have a great sales week.